Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. To the true believers of Yahweh, Bahashem, to the true believers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the brother W coming back at you with another one, and this this little this video is gonna go into what happened over here in Canada in Vancouver, you know, city of Vancouver. Um, a van, a van basically ran through a crowd of people, at a festival, and you know, and killed 11 people. So I'm just gonna read a little bit of this. And, all this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, the cruel judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You, the Lord could, take you out anywhere, anytime, at any moment. You and that's what a lot of people out here, don't they don't realize. They don't realize that at any given moment, could be your last. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then I'm going to get some precepts. I go into judgment. Heading is death toll rises in Canada car ramming. The death toll from the car ramming attack at a Filipino festival in the Canadian city of Vancouver on Saturday has risen to 11. Police have said the suspect, Kai G. Adam Low, 30, has been charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder, with an additional charges expected as the investigation continues. The incident occurred around 8:14 near East 41st Street Avenue and Fraser Street as the Lupa Lupa Festival was concluding and barriers were being removed. Witnesses said a black SUV accelerated into the crowd, causing mass casualties. Bystanders detained the suspect before police arrived. The victims ranged in age from 5 to 65 years old. According to the interim police chief Howard Rye, 32 patients were treated at hospitals across the Lower Mainland, with 17 still hospitalized, some critically, and provincial Ministry of Health confirmed. So, yeah, and like the scripture says, the Lord is no respecter of persons, and you see, the age was from youngest of 5, you know, a child, and the oldest 65. So the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, is no respecter of persons. He does not care how old you are, how young you are, your gender. When judgment, when judgment has come, when the death angels are ready to carry out the orders of the Most High, that's a wrap. That's it. And that's why that's why even myself, I don't really like going. I'm more of a, so yeah, I'm not, sometimes I do go out, but I'm very much more so uh, homebody. Like I don't like the crowds, especially like, festival things, and especially over here, like, you know, over here in Toronto, we have a festival called Caravana, where all the so-called West Indies and, you know, and the other nations, they go, they go down and partake in music and dancing, and there's a whole bunch of lust and wickedness. But before coming in the truth, as a youth, I used to go to go to those type of festivals and things, and you just always find something happening, you know, always. And more times, it's always the festivals that you know more time include like either the northern or southern tribe. Because even those Latin fest and those type of festivals, shit always goes down. You know, so so I'm not even really too fond of festivals and shit. 'Cause, you have things like this happening. But at the end of the day, it's just all judgment, from Yahweh Shimei Shai. So this is Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And because wickedness is speedingly being increased, you know, through everything, through entertainment, just through the way people, carry out themselves. People are not giving, no fucks, and they're gonna do what they want to do, you and people are waxing cold. Like people are gonna be out here, just doing, you know, out of this world things. And this something like this is nothing new. I remember over here in Toronto, um, a busy area, Young Street, which is a long busy road. Fucking a van, was just running down people, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that happened, and they just had a memorial for that, I believe, last week. And then now look over in Vancouver, um, basically the same thing, but but at a festival. So and things like this, it's easy. It's easy for someone to get in a car and just start running fucking people over. And at the end of the day, it's as crazy and as scary as it may sound, it's all through the power of the Most High Yahweh. He's controlling this. Those people, they had to be judged, and many people got injured. So even though it said 11 people died, a lot of people could have been paralyzed, or you know lost a leg, or severe back or arm injuries, and never going to be the same. And that is still all judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on us sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So the Lord will use people to carry out his judgment. You I don't know. I don't know the reasonings to why. A lot of these people they just claim to be just insane. Some of them they don't even know. They don't even know why they did what they did. But it's through the powers of Yahweh Shem Shai. He controls both left hand and right hand, both good and evil. Scripture that points that out. Yeah, he's the Lord. The Lord is he's cold. He's cold, man. Like these people, went to this, you know, and I'm pretty sure, there 100% sure there's we got camps. There's GMS camps over there in Vancouver, because Vancouver is a very popular city in Canada. And these Filipinos, because Lupa Lupa is a Filipino festival. They're and then I personally I like Filipino. I like the Filipino people. A lot of them be Jake, and they got a lot of flavor. And you know. So you feel for them. It's at the end of the day, the things like this are just it's just scratching the surface of the more severe judgments that are going to come. With us, going into the time of Jacob's trouble, man, things are gonna get terrible. Things are gonna get terrible like this. When you see attacks like this, yes, they're big, but on a scale of mass death, it just doesn't compare to what's to come. The Lord is going to continue to use different people to put out it to bring forth His judgment. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that even I, am He, and that there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. This is something that people can't wrap their heads around, and that they can't understand that the Most High Yahweh, He is in control of everything. He controls the good. He controls the evil. You know, spiritual demon Satan, can't just go and do what he wants to do. He still has to get the okay from Yahweh. He still has to get the green light. There's no power. There's no God that is over Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. That's top of the top. And the Lord the Lord is controlling both sides. And if people, would if Jake, because we're still going to talk about Jake, because we don't really care about the other nations. If Jake would come to the realization that their power, controls the good and the evil, they'd want to get right. Or people don't care. They don't want to set up prayers and start to question their life until they go through some near death experience or until they're on their deathbed. I guarantee you, a lot of the casualties and people that were involved in this attack, are sending up heavy prayers, thinking, why me or why them? The ones that passed away. The Lord is telling us, that there's no power above Him. He kills, He makes alive, and none can escape, out of His wrath, out of His hand. There's no dodging that judgment. There's no, missing it. It's 100% accurate every single time. This is Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, do all these things. Just like it says, He has the power to kill and make alive. You know, he brings the good and the bad. You know, he's the Lord is Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Is the one that controls the good things that are going on, and also the bad things that are going on. That's the power that we serve. That's the power and the creator of all things. Zephaniah 3 and 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof, is in the midst thereof. He will not, like he will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So the Lord is bringing out Lord is bringing out judgment every single day, and like it said, these people, you know, so the Lupa Lupa festival was concluding, so people are having a good time, the security or the event, personnel were taking down the barriers, the very barriers that would have kept, a car from being able to, cause damage. And as soon as it happens, as soon as some people thought they're about to, go back to their lives, or enjoy the rest of their Saturday night, then boom, judgment come, just quick like that, quick just like that. So you know every day the Lord is bringing His judgment every day, whether it's in night, morning, midday. This is judgment constantly going out. The angels are out there doing the work of the Lord. It's Hebrews 10:31. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It's very fearful. You're out there with your families, with your loved ones, having a great time, you know, got your arm wrapped around your shorty, laughing, probably had a few drinks, holding your child's hand, and then a fucking car is just right there and then. That's scary because then people weren't expecting that. And people weren't expecting to lose their lives that night. Those were other people. They weren't expected to be critically injured, and a lot of people are gonna have PTSD. They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be scared of crowds. They're gonna whenever they see a car um fastly approaching or getting near, they're gonna wonder, is this car about to just run me over? And that's why another reason why, like, it's always good. It's always good to be aware of your surroundings, no matter where you go. And I am very much so. I just got in a habit of just doing that. I constantly, you know, surveying wherever the hell I'm at. Whether I'm in the gym, sitting down eating at a restaurant, or just even driving, or whatever it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. I'm always just looking, constantly looking back and forth every single time, just because you just never know. You just never know what kind of madness is going to be going on out there. And that's why we pray. You know, that's why when we leave our houses, it is very important to send up those prayers, pray for that protection. You know, because we know the Lord every morning. We know the Lord is going to bring forth His judgment, and we could be a block away, or seconds away from the Lord taking somebody else out. So you just never know. And people out here bugging out too. People on all type of drugs and just going mad. So more reason to just be aware and pay attention of just what's going on. We can't be out here walking just blindly, just oblivious to our surroundings and what's going on. We understand the times that we're living in. We understand that, like I read earlier, the love of many are waxing cold. We understand that there are spirits that are created for vengeance. So we need to be aware of just what's going on. Because uh, you don't want to fall into you don't want to fall into the hand of judgment. You don't want to get too close. But that's why the Lord is protecting us. and keeping us safe, always. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to pray and to just be aware of what's going on. Uh, um, what's that? It's like you're redeeming the time because the days are evil. Basically paraphrasing, you know, we're living in a very evil time. So we just need to just be aware of what's going on. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2. It is better to go into the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it so Salakia. The living will lay it to his heart, lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness and continence of heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. So, it's just better to just focus and be more to yourselves and to be thinking about you know these things, like thinking about judgment, and just that and just pray for the Lord's mercy, and to be out here not giving a care in the world what's going on. And that's Jake every day. Jake just wants to have fun, you know and just party and be about. And like I said, there's a balance to everything. But more times our minds need to be in the mind state of of the bad things that are to come, and the hard times that we are going to be facing, and understanding that the time of war is coming and not the time of peace, and to just be focused on the Hashem Shah. So that's gonna do it for this little quick video. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety. All the archangels and truth to the earth. Lord willing, we found this edifying. Until the next one.